Hey everyone, welcome to the next session for the SOFA Summit. Next up, we have one of our incredible current investors and owners. His name is Jerry Wimberly. He's out of Nashville, Tennessee. Jerry, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm feeling better. You might hear a little frog in my voice, but believe me, I'm feeling much better. And I'm looking forward to this interview. I mean, you guys have been so good to me. You
That's
know, it's my turn to be good back to you.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, it's been an incredible relationship. Love being able to have you so close, here in Nashville. So we can go look at your properties you have in Nashville and then have you come down and visit us multiple times in Memphis. We love that. So why don't you just start off? You've gotten a really incredible story, of what you've been through. So why don't you just tell everyone just a little bit about, your story and kind of what you went through in, 2008 and beyond.
Okay, I'll start from the very get go. I'm a second generation uh, real estate investor, second generation. And I learned it. I'm a what do you call it? A hard knock. I started out as a hard knock real estate investor, like my dad. We were hard knocks. You know what I'm saying? Knock us upside the head. We didn't know what we were doing. But real estate is so forgiving. It's not time in the market, it's time in the market. So I would say for the first 20 years, I mean, it's been 38 years now, 38 years. And the first 25, 22 to 25, I was a hard knock real estate guy. Only thing I did know and what I did right was to keep buying property. I did that. I just did that. You know, I wish I had somebody like me in my ear back then. I'll probably be 10 times bigger than what I am now, at least, you know. But eventually, eventually, somebody said, Jared, you know, you ought to go to a real estate, you ought to join your real estate uh, uh, RIA group, you know, and you probably learn a whole lot more. And I did. And that's when the transformation began. It was 2010. I joined my real estate investors group. And I started getting educated. It took me probably a good 2 years to get educated. And when I meet guys like you, Mark, and the whole team over there, Reedy, I'm like, man, you are young guys and you know all this stuff. I mean, and I didn't learn till, 22, 25 years into the game, but I picked it up. And since I did a lot of things that was so good up front as a hard knock, it was easy to make an adjustment and just really explode to the next level. And that's pretty much what I've done, you know. And I'm still growing the business. I've discovered that in order to stay ahead of the tax man, I have to continue to grow the business. We call that rolling in the dough. That's the only way you can do it,
Definitely.
to my knowledge.
Definitely. Yeah, it's, what you've been through with the classic, 2008 getting hit by in the stock market and then realizing that, well, hey, now's a perfect time to, shift and go all in to real estate. And tell us a little bit more about the current portfolio, that you have, especially in Nashville.
Okay. Hey, let me back. I'm gonna touch on what you just said there. Yeah, that brilliant part. I think I mentioned that to you before. About 2008, I lost about $1 million in real money, equity, and cash. You know, I retired from General Motors, and that was my life savings. I lost that in November 2008. You know, and I mean, I cried like a baby. And I said, I got to do something. I got to do something. I prayed, cried like a baby, and prayed hard. I prayed really hard. And I went and took a class in option trading in December. And I studied it. After I took the class, I kind of studied it and worked it from January through April before I went into it. Now, thank God I had rental properties. that would still generate me income. I had a 401k, but some money was still left in it. And I had equity in my home. I pulled it all out, everything. And I mean, you talking about going for the home run hit. I was there to gather $300,000. And I put it in options, all options, in April of 2009. By 6-month options. By September of 2009, I had $1.3 million. That was the game changer for me. I learned then that the stock market, I won't say it's rigged, but it's a win or lose. You know, I learned that lesson. And after I hit that for that money, it all went into real estate in 2009. From that point on, all real estate. And if you can imagine what was going on in 2009, the real estate market was at its low. I bought I leveraged $1 million worth of property in 2009, between 2009, the fall of 2009 and the spring of 2010. I leveraged $1 million worth of property. I mean, I put the $1 million in. So how much property can you buy leverage with $1 million? About 5 million. About 5 million.
Yep.
And remember this, that 5 million in property that I leveraged was at a 50% discount.
Yep.
When it came back like a rocket. It took me from that one little $1 million, which is a lot of money, don't get me wrong. It shot me beyond belief. With those monies, I was able to buy out to this day. Excuse me. To this day, I've been able to buy half of a 206 condominium complex. I was buying things at the time, units that was originally back then selling for 40,000. I was able to buy them for 10,000. Oh man, I bought everything I could get. Them same units now are selling 100,000 and up. Man, life changing. It's really pricey to purchase properties in Nashville. Now you could do it. It's a little harder, but you could do it.
So what are you doing? So now that you bought them at such a low price, you've ridden that appreciation wave. So now what are you doing with all of that, that property and that equity in Nashville?
I'm cashing it out right now, refinancing it. I'm about to pull about $4 million out, in equity to purchase more properties in Memphis with the Reedy Group.
That's great. I love it.
Beautiful thing, So what I've noticed is, seems like about every 7 years, that real estate just doubles. It seemed like it. I don't know, but I tell you, I don't watch it that close. I'm so busy buying that you got to stop and check it. You got to stop and check that equity, and don't let it sit. You got to get it out of there and buy you more real estate. Don't get caught up in buying stocks. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Yeah.
Real estate, the way to go.
Definitely. We appreciate the relationship, and it's been an incredible run. So, how has your experience been, with MIP and Reedy?
Excellent. MIP Reedy is a professional, a totally professional outfit. I watched you guys for a year. I found out about you through the magazine Realty.
Think Realty.
Magazine, Think Realty, yeah. And I watched you guys for a year. I mean, I stalked you guys for a year, and then I still say I got to come down there and look at everything and the team there at the time, they gave me a full walkthrough. I didn't go there to buy anything, but I bought some things. You
Mhm.
know, I said, this is just beautiful. And what I witnessed was an organization doing everything that I was doing, but on a higher scale, on a higher scale. So I charmed right in with what was going on there. It's like, wow, this is like me investing in my own business right here. So I'm a believer. I'm a wholeheartedly believer in what you guys are doing, you know. And I'm in another place too. At first, it used to be all cash flow. Don't get me wrong, I still love cash flow, but it's more to real estate than cash flow. There's a lot more to real estate than cash flow. Now, starting out, cash flow may be an important thing for somebody just starting out, but when you get to certain levels, it's more than cash flow. It's cash management, tax management. There's a lot of other things to it, you know. So I believe I have somewhere uh, my personal uh, portfolio of, I don't know, about maybe 180 units, you know, that I have management teams that manage about 180 units. And then I've already invested in several uh, uh, syndications with, you guys. And I'm looking for that to come to full fruition. And I'm willing to go even further. I'm all in. I'm all in with the Reedy Group. Okay. Memphis Investment Properties. I'm
Yeah,
all in.
we love that. And we appreciate the relationship very much. So if you're so you are a lifelong second generation investor, right? You have obviously, you've won sometimes, you've lost sometimes, but then at the end of the day, you have an absolutely incredible portfolio, of 180 units. And so let's just say, what advice do you have for that brand new investor, that person that has zero properties and is basically interested in building a portfolio?
Don't wait. Matter of fact, I tell you something. This is huge. I was just talking to my nieces and nephews and several of my cousins this past 2 weeks. I've been on the road trip, and I stirred up a lot of business for you guys. You're gonna start getting some calls. I told them, talk to Mark, tell them who sent you. It's about to start happening. They starting to believe now. They seeing what's happening with me and my lifestyle. And one of the things I did as a hard knock, I was tactile. I want to do everything myself. That's not the best way. Knowing what I know now, I would say, you know, be a turnkey investor. Don't get your hands dirty. Just go ahead, get with an outfit, like Memphis Investment Properties, to where you let them do the heavy lifting. They got all the structure in place, and build your portfolio there, one unit at a time, you know, every year. And, really by the second or third year, you might could buy two, and by the 6 or 7 year, you might could buy three a year. And then don't stop. Don't stop. But let a professional, strong team do all the heavy lifting. And you go ahead and live your life, whatever job you have, live your life. And by the time you get 10 to 15 units, you could probably decide to retire if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but live your life, let the pros do the heavy lifting. You will be 100% smarter than what I've ever been. And you'll be 1,000% happier, and you'll be free. So that is what I give, advice I give to a younger person. And that's the same advice I just given to my nieces and nephews and cousins, saying don't mess with it. If I had to do it all over and I knew about investment properties, that's what I would have done,
Hey, well, that's some great advice. Yeah, I mean, it's all about leveraging a team and leveraging your time and what's your ROI on your time. I mean, yes, you could do the property management on all of your houses, and every time there's a tenant or maintenance call, you could be the one to answer it. But having 180 units, your phone would be ringing all the time. It'd be absolutely chaotic. It makes a lot more sense for you to just level up and be that, what I always say, be that asset manager where you're the one making the decisions on how to grow the portfolio, how to add more properties to the portfolio, how to get rid of some properties, how to do refinances, and spend your time on the higher level problems, and then basically, farm out and hire out the things that aren't going to get you the highest ROI, on your time, and that is property management at the end of the day. So
Exactly. Because property management, that's repeatable. Once you get a strong team in place, they do what they do best. I feel more like I am into finance. I feel like I'm more of a finance manager now. I spend most of my time working with lenders and banks,
yep.
pulling money out of the real estate to deploy it into more real estate.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't end. The numbers just get bigger.
Yep.
And like I said, my greatest mistake was I was tactile. I transitioned through probably several levels, from working class to middle class to, funny to say, rich, but it's amazing. But when you I put the work in. When you put the work in, like I put the work in, not to everybody, you can't but be rich if you put the work in. You have to put it in, plenty of hours, and I did it the hard way. Don't do it the hard way. Let Reedy do all that stuff. He got a cookie cutter. He has a cookie. Yeah, it's an investment property. That's a cookie cutter process right there. Hey, it ain't even hard for you guys. You got the right team in place.
That's it.
Ain't even
Well,
hard for you guys.
it's all about building a system and a process that can be replicatable and duplicatable and scalable. It's not about buying one house and saying I'm a successful real estate investor. That's more of a liability at the end of the day to only have one property. You need it to be on a spreadsheet where you have a portfolio, because if you have, one vacancy or one high maintenance, well, you have the rest of the portfolio to more than cover everything, and it's a self-sustaining, appreciating asset, and it gets a lot more fun when you can just put 180 units on a spreadsheet. That's pretty powerful, Jerry.
It looks good. It looks good.
I love it.
Well, totals, it looks good.
Yeah, amen to that. Amen. Well, hey, thank you so much. Really love and appreciate the relationship. It's great that we get to see each other all the time, being here in Tennessee and actually being a local. So you've built an incredible portfolio, and we've learned a lot from you as well. So hope you have a great afternoon. And for everyone here on the Sofa Summit, that's it for this session. We got a great one coming up here right after, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a great one.